So, you're a philosopher? Yes.
Yo, what's up? What's up? Gerald Hassan, the children, Enlightening Minds Enterprise. Mr. Shift Your Perspective. Yo, I wanted to speak with you about corporal punishment. Who all believes in corporal punishment? Who all down with corporal punishment? For those who might not know what that means, who all down with whipping your kids' ass when they act up? You know what I'm saying? Who all down with that? Now, I would like for you to get into the comments. Let me know what you think. You know, give me your take on corporal punishment. You know, the pros, what you believe the pros and cons is. If you believe like, hell yeah, then I'd like to know why you believe that. If you don't believe that, I'd like to know why you don't believe that. But if you have, you torn between the two, I'd like to know, what you think about that as well. So definitely get into the comments, man. Go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and follow. But with that being said, I'm gonna give my perspective. My perspective about corporal punishment, when I raised that at a function before, is this here. I believe that corporal punishment, whooping the kid's ass, I think it's only necessary or beneficial, or sufficient or whatever. I think it's only necessary when a child is at the age of, when they're real young, when they're very, very, it's a very small window, because we're talking about a baby and between the age of when they can talk. This is what I'm talking about. Once the child reaches a point to where they can understand you. I'm not saying like stop. They might can kind of get it, but I'm saying when they can understand and can communicate back with you what they understand, because that's necessary, whether it be from children to parents or from parents to children. But when you having a conversation with someone, I believe it's very necessary to make sure that the person that you're talking to properly understands you or understands you correctly, because sometimes, I believe most of the time, people think they understand you, and sometimes you think that you're also being understood, and then you get somewhere down the line where that understanding should have led to certain results, and you don't get those results, and it's based on the fact that the person didn't understand you correctly, and fully. And so once you know that, once that child reaches the point where they can communicate back with you, the proper understanding that you was trying to convey to the child, at that point, whippings are no longer necessary. It's like sign language. You don't need to speak sign language. You don't need to speak physical language to a child no more. At that point, we need to begin to cultivate that child's intellect and creative thinking capabilities, and by communicating intelligently with that child in the way that we want that child to communicate with us, as well as in the way that we want that child to communicate with the world. And so if we want that child to communicate with us and want that child to communicate with the world in a way where that child isn't yelling and cussing people out and being disrespectful and, whatever. In whatever way you do not want the child to deal with people. And definitely in whatever way you don't want the child to deal with you. Because however you let that child deal with you, you can guarantee that child is going to deal with people who isn't the mother or father. So the home is definitely the training grounds and the way of bringing up a child. And so I strongly believe that when one wants me to come speak to the children, I believe, really more so in speaking to the household, because it's not to say anybody's a bad parent or individual is doing things wrong per se, But it's just sometimes we're not doing something a certain way, or we can do things differently. And sometimes someone giving you a perspective from the outside looking in can really help a lot with maybe changing some things up with your child, you know. So anyway, with that whole corporal punishment piece, we have to also understand that whipping is a form of communication. We tell a child to stop, and then we pop the child, bye, stop, you know. Child learns that, right? So the child, in that child mind, it knows that whenever mom or dad say stop, and they sound a certain way, look a certain way, it's about to be a hit coming with that soon. Well, guess what? If you pay attention to your child or children, and you are one that yells, you are one that talks to them like they grown, or using, you know, harsh language, or you want to quick to hit, or even if you are not quick to hit, but you're going to hit them eventually, just watch how they deal with each other. If they got siblings, watch that they deal with their siblings in the same exact manner almost, you know. And if not that, they definitely going to deal with their peers in that way. And they might not go as far as like, I'm going to whip you. They might go, you know, to the level, I'm going to whip your ass. You know, I done told you to stop, you won't stop, so I'm going to punch you in your face, or I'm going to hit you, whatever, right? And so we teach them that, you understand? We teach our kids this form of communication. And it's the communication that says that if my words prove to be insufficient, then my actions have to do something, you know, to make you obey it and do what I need you to do. But if we cultivate and teach our kids how to communicate by the way we communicate with our kids, we communicate, and then let's just say that the words just don't do it, you know. But first of all, let me stick with that. We teach them how to communicate, how to express themselves, how to say what's on your mind, and how to speak out the way you feel. That's one of the problems today. The kids don't really know how to express themselves, don't really know how to say adequately how they feel. It's a lot of adults who don't know that, you know. And that's why we have all the issue where people are blaming other people for the pain that they're suffering as a result of a lack of understanding during communication, or just a lack of communication. Another thing is when the child is also doing this here, I want you to, damn man, I kind of lost my thought, I'm sorry. But I want you to bear in mind the fact that, again, when we teach these kids through the way that we do all the things that we do, and they get to mimic that, in one way we might find that cute and funny, but, you know, a child should never really do certain things that a grown person does. For one, they don't know why we do certain things we do, and we grown, you know. But yet still, that is not a justification to do certain things and tell a child you can't do it because I'm grown. It's just a lot of stuff that we do. We should never do it around kids, or not even in earshot, mind shot, whatever, because they're going to take that in. But again, about the whole corporal punishment piece, we're talking about a way of cultivating their minds and communicating. And oh yeah, I know that's what I was saying, is that, yeah, when you know, we teach them first how to talk and express themselves adequately, when we teach them that. But also, when the child shows that they don't do what's necessary, when we try to teach them don't do certain things, and it's like the word's not getting it right, then we have to also teach them that you're going to have to live with the results of your choices. You know, when you do certain things, you're going to have to live with the weight of the consequence sometimes. And it's best that we start teaching them that early, when they're still in the home, opposed to when they get out in society and have to find out the hard way. We're not going to be able to go save them every time that they make a bad decision and have to deal with the weight of consequence. So we have to teach them that in some form or fashion, when I've told you to do something and you don't do it, and this is what happened, this is the consequence. And the consequence, while with the way we about corporal punishment, the consequence might be whooping ass, right? But we're going to say, let's say we don't want our kids to run around whooping nobody's ass, so I'm not going to whoop your ass. What I'm going to do, though, because I ask you to stop, I ask you to stop doing a certain thing with a certain thing, I'm going to take it from you. We've had this communication, you won't stop, I'm going to take it from you. And then, you know, we move beyond that. Once we got our child to be a thinking kind of child, then we can we can communicate to the child how to deal with things when the child is not in the home and dealing with things like at school and work and just on the streets and so on and so forth, you know. But yeah, man, that's what I wanted to really put out there, because I want to, you know, just pose this question to you about corporal punishment. It was something that me and a dear friend was talking about earlier. I think it was today or yesterday or something. And I've had this conversation with a number of people, but it was that conversation that I had with her earlier, and it sparked me to have this conversation with you all. So get back at me, you know, let me know what you think, talk to me. Peace.